This is Aaron at Power Popaholic. Today I am talking with the great Chris Stamey. He has a new album coming out called Anything is Possible. And last time I spoke with you, Chris, it was about 4 years ago with Mitch Easter on the Winston-Salem Sound. And now you have a new, what I would call a romantic concept album. Yeah, am I right with that?
Well, I think the romantic part is right. I think there's a through line for it, but I don't think I wouldn't really call it a concept album.
Okay.
I mean, I've written musicals and things that have a tight story, so I think this is not that.
Okay, all right. I read it that way only because it seemed like the beginning of a relationship, and then songs about how the relationship progresses throughout the album towards the end. But that's
No, that was just really sequencing. It's not.
okay. Okay.
Well, I'm glad for you to have your own interpretation.
All right. No, that's fine. First thing I have to ask, because the first track just blew me away. This great Pet Sounds pastiche, "I'd Be Lost Without You." First of all, what was it like working with the Dario brothers, who helped you, the Lemon Twigs, who did a lot of those harmonies? And was this a hard song to write?
It wasn't a hard song to write. I mean, it turned out different than I had expected. But usually, when I write them, I'm not really sure how they're going to come out. What I've been doing is I've been writing songs kind of like people write scripts.
Mm-hmm.
Before I would create these movies. In effect, a visual movie is different than a record, of course, but I would be writing with technology in mind, or how this is going to, what the snare drum is going to sound like. There might be a particular effect coming in, and I've changed to where I'm writing things on paper. So I'll write in what's called, I guess, a real book format. I'll write a melody, and I'll write pretty clear chords. And
Right.
if they're little definite bass riffs or anything, I'll put them in. But you can usually fit that onto 2 or 3 pages of paper, and then I put that on the piano, and then I go back to the next one.
Okay.
So at a certain point, I pulled this off the piano and thought about recording it, because I'd been playing it live a little bit too, and I really liked it. But it turning out like, with a little bit of a Beach Boys sheen on it. I think it got there. Brian Wilson was very fond of George Gershwin, and very fond also of the Four Freshmen.
Yes.
Some of these harmonies are related to that. But when I was writing it, I was under the spell of a song by Jerome Kern called "All the Things You Are," and because of the way it modulates. So this
Right.
modulates in that way.
It's a beautiful song. I mean, I got to tell you, it's like I said, it hooked me right away.
Thank you.
And and I love the richness and the fullness of the production in this as well. And it goes right into that follow-up, which is the title track, where it almost starts with a Beatles callback. I read the news today.
I
And
guess a
then
little bit, yeah.
but it doesn't go there. It's hard to tell if the song, if it's a totally positive one or not. It's a little ambiguous the way I interpreted it. But it's really also another richly developed production that I think speaks to the theme of the entire album, which is positive and romantic at the same time.
Well, I feel the same way. Thank you.
I'm glad I got it right.
I mean, Anything is Possible was a late song. I had actually been, I recorded a number of songs for the record, and only about 70% of those made it on the record. At one point, it was much more croonerly, I guess you'd say. And
Yeah.
I went out and did some shows with Mitch Easter, with our old band Sneakers,
Right.
just for fun. And then I opened some shows in California for the Lemon Twigs, and was able to remember what fun it was to just play guitar and have a good backbeat. But I also remembered what it was like to be in high school, when Easter and I were doing things in the basement, trying to figure out what recording was about. So I got Mitch to play drums on it, and that's one
Mm.
reason it sounds pretty different than everything else. Um, and it it's similar actually to um, the first track, "I'd Be Lost Without You."
Hmm.
I remember when I first heard "Stack of Tracks" by the Beach Boys,
Yeah.
and which was an instrumental record,
Right.
a karaoke record kind of, and it was amazing how few instruments were on those tracks. But yet, when you add the melodies and when you add the harmonies, they fill up. And in both these tracks, actually, if you take off the vocals, they're pretty sparse. I mean, there might be a little reverb here and there, but there's not a lot going on at the same time. And then
Right.
once you add the singing in there, and it was really fortunate with both of these, and also with an actual Beach Boys cover we did,
Yep.
that
Yeah.
I could get the brothers Udario to sing on them because they're fantastic singers. And part of what happened during the making of this record is I realized that not having had a favorite band in, I don't know, 40 years since television broke up, I all of a sudden I had the Lemon Twigs, my favorite band, and it was
Well,
really
they're
fun to
one of
be a fan.
yeah, they're one of my favorites too. They were voted my top out. Their last album last year was voted my top album in my top 10. They were number one, but
Yeah,
they're just they just are on another level as far as I'm concerned. And
they're
but
really good musicians. That's
yes, very great musicians as well. And speaking of croonerly, the following song, "All After All This Time," is a very croonerly song. It's a great little love song. It just has that classic pop styling. And, it's similar towards the end of the album, the song Au revoir and Goodbye. It's almost like you expect to have that romantic slow dance to that song, you know?
ah. Well, what happens is it's au revoir and goodbye is basically in a four time, but it goes into a waltz. So that would be your slow dance. Yeah.
Yes,
I
yes.
think I feel like I copped that from the left bank, but I don't really know that I did.
Oh, I don't know. We'll listen to it again and then we'll make a judgment, I guess. But the another song that really stood out to me was Meet Me in Manhattan in Midtown. Sorry, Meet Me in Midtown. It was a lot, it had like a Brill building feel to it. A
Hmm.
little bit almost like a sequel to Petunia Clark's Downtown, if you will. If she's talking about downtown, you're talking about Midtown a little bit.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess you don't really. I mean, I actually wrote it as well, what happened with Downtown was she was produced by Tony Hatch, which is a very
Right.
clever guy, and he has a psychedelic record, a psychedelic guitar record. I can't think of the name of it, but it's a wonderful record. But he was producing Philip Clark, and they needed a hit, and he went to Manhattan to where all the music publishers were, and he got a
Right.
lot of song sheets. He was in a hotel in Times Square, and he went through them one by one and picked out a bunch for her. And he flew to Paris with his hopes of having a hit record for her. And he played her all these things, and she said, "No, no, no, that's not good." No, and then so he was kind of empty-handed. But then he said, "Well, I had this idea for a song myself. I was in downtown New York, and he played it for her, and she said, 'That's the one,' and they
Wow.
recorded it. But the thing is, he wasn't in downtown. He was in Times Square. I mean, if I was a New Yorker for a long time, and Times Square you're talking downtown, you're below 14th Street.
Correct.
So I don't know that I had that on my mind with Meet Me in Midtown.
Right.
It's kind of like what he might have written if he had had a clue where he was. Uh, and it's also kind of mixed up with the way the left hand octaves on the piano were compressed on Downtown, which is the same as on Crosstown Traffic by Jimi Hendrix.
Wow.
Just this
This is great
massive.
trivia. I didn't even know this stuff. Thank you.
But then a lot of this record also has to do with things I heard growing up. And for me, I liked the crazy hits when I was growing up, and there's a song called Hernando's Hideaway that is really a brilliant song. So I wanted to, these were the things I was thinking out about before I wrote the song. I don't know if I
Right.
was really thinking about them while I was writing it, but it was kind of the ramp up.
Understood. So tell me a little bit about another similar type of what I would call a brill building style that I heard was In a Lonely Place. Where did
Ah,
that song come from? A little bit.
oh, well, um, they keep remaking movies, and I hope they never remake the movie In a Lonely Place, but if they do, I want it to be ready with a soundtrack. So it actually cops a bit of uh, very poignant and cheesy dialogue from Humphrey Bogart in that movie, In a Lonely Place.
Hmm,
Is one of the most noir movies. You know,
got it.
it's really a downer. Um, that's all that's going on in that song. But I was thinking, well, how would Roy Orbison do this? So I think maybe some of that
Channel a little
maybe
bit of Roy
60s
in there.
flavor you're picking up on.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
you can think
absolutely.
about this stuff all day long, and at the end of the day, I was not Roy Orbison singing it, and it was, you know, just a track.
Right, right. Well, also, the fact that, you mentioned that Beach Boys was going through your head, and you also do that cover, Don't Talk, Put Your Head on My Shoulder. I love the fact that, to me, if you listen to the original, it sounds like a teenage love song. But when you sing it, it comes from a more mature point of view. Like this is an adult saying this now as opposed to a teenage romance, which I think,
Oh,
fits in really nicely with the other songs. Um, also, like I said, another great ballad I love that you did here was When My Ship Comes In. Very hopeful,
no, thank you.
very, very much like this is the guy who's trying to convince the girl to just stay with him because, things
No,
are
see,
going to
you've
get
got this
better.
whole rock opera thing in your head, but this is a
Yes.
song that I wrote specifically in a style that was um, on the hit parade, I guess, in World War II of
Wow.
lovers separated by the ocean. One of them would, and often the guy would be at war, and he'd be putting on a brave face and saying, "When my ship comes home, we'll be together," but thinking that really uh, that ship is going to be blown to pieces, by the U-boats. I mean,
Right.
it was, "I'll be home for Christmas" is a song like that, or "I'll be seeing you,"
Right.
if only in my dreams. Um, and I love that genre of that group of songs from
Right.
World War II. And I also think that um, it's hard to say for sure we're not going to be in conflicts in the future. It's something that um, makes a song appropriate today. That's my favorite song on the record. I
Oh, really?
am very
Oh,
proud of that one. I'm glad you called it out.
no, I really liked it. Another song that has a kind of a Pet Sounds sound a bit was Once on a Summer's Day,
Ah,
which also has, it's sort of like I said, it affects that mood. I know that you weren't intending on writing like a little like storyline with it, but to me it all seems like, part of a conversation between two people and the attitudes and the feelings that are behind it. And that's what's uniform. That's why I can't take in like a World War II reference for When My Ship Comes In because I'm hearing it doesn't sound like a 1940s song. It sounds like something that is done today. It vibes with the rest of the album and it fits really nicely.
Once on a Summer's Day.
Yeah.
Uh, well, I had a song a long time ago called "The Summer Sun," and it goes,
Oh yeah, I
"Some are
know the
always
Summer
cold in
Sun.
the summer sun." I've always liked the dichotomy between summer and winter, but I used to always go to the beach in the winter. My family would go to the beach at Christmas, and
Wow.
I like walking on deserted beaches and in a sweater.
contemplate everything with that ocean still roaring, which is nice.
Yeah, I could pretty much sit and look at the ocean the rest of my life,
A lot of people
but
enjoy that as well.
not with beach balls going by.
Yes, absolutely. I was going to ask another song. Another song you did, "Done with Love." Who is singing the female vocals on that?
Oh no, it's a guy.
Oh, it is a guy. All right,
Yeah,
I'll edit this so it sounds better. Who's singing the vocals on "Done with Love" with you?
well, originally that was another Lemon Twigs moment, and they weren't able to do that one. And my dear friend Brett Harris, who's a great singer and a great player, he's on that.
Very nice. It's a really nice, lovely song. The fact that the background vocals sort of contrast with yours a little bit made it stand out a little bit to me. So, I enjoyed it quite a bit. And the last song on the album, "Leaves in the Wind," can you tell me a little bit about that? Because it's kind of bittersweet and jazzy with the horns. How did you come about to put that song together?
I wrote a piano instrumental. I became fascinated with a particular chord. I don't know if I have I call it a Lillian major seven, but I don't know if it's a major seven chord with a sharp 11. So if you're it's like a major seven would be a C, E, G, B, but if this chord is a C, E, well, F sharp, B, essentially, and um, it's kind of a chordal. It's a very open It's a very open chord,
Right.
associated, with Bill Evans maybe, and also with Copeland, and it's evocative of a certain bittersweet flavor.
Right.
So I think that I wrote this piano instrumental, and I really loved the voicing in it. Recorded it. It's called Un Autre Temp, another time. And a year, when I was working on this record, I thought, well, I could put lyrics to this, and I'd like it maybe even more. So you can go search out. It's the instrumental version, the original version with a slightly different harmonization is on a record called "A Brand New Shade of Blue."
Whose record is that?
Oh, it's mine.
Oh, yours. Okay. All right. Just making sure.
Um, yeah, I mean, "Leaves in the Wind." Probyn Gregory from the Brian Wilson Band,
Yes, I
played
know him
trumpet
well.
on that. Probyn was great on this record. I loved what his contributions were. But I told him Chet Baker. That's what I was thinking about.
Very nice. Very nice. So is there do you want to tell me a little bit about how once you got all these songs together, how did you end up obviously you picked the Lemon Twigs because you had liked them, but who else was involved and
No,
Probyn
no,
Gregory?
I picked them because they're great. I mean, I like them, but well, it's the Louvin brothers, the Everly brothers singing together
Right.
when they can do it. It's like nothing else. Yeah, but uh, most of this record was recorded in about 7 hours after we rehearsed it for I don't know, a couple of months.
Wow.
I rehearsed it with the main rhythm section here, and then I went out to California with the Wild Honey Orchestra and had some of the arrangements written. Then we ran it down and did a little concert, and I came back, and so I was pretty comfortable with the tempos. And then I don't know, we cut 10 or 11 songs, maybe 6 of those are on the record. So that was the heart of the record.
Well, it's a very good record. I really like some of the romantic tones in it, and a lot of the pop stylings, which are just infectious, in my opinion. So I enjoyed a lot of it. And tell me, how are you supporting this record? Are you going to be are you touring on any dates soon?
Well, I'm actually playing with the Lemon Twigs on June 14th. I mean, I'm on the bill and they're on the bill as headliners. New York on July 10th, Los Angeles on the 13th, um, Nashville on the 21st, Minneapolis on the 23rd, I think Chicago on the 24th. Um, and after that, I'm going to try to do some serious touring.
That sounds like serious touring to me. You do it. I think that's going to be amazing. That's great. So I encourage everyone to pick up this album. It's called "Anything Is Possible" by Chris Stamey, of course, the master here. And is obviously. So the date that this album officially drops is
July 11th.
July 11th. So this video is coming out prior to that. So you have advance warning, people. Get this album. Uh, the great Chris Stamey, I thank you so much for your time on this. And, we wish you more success. And please keep writing those songs. Every time you switch genres or move things around or switch it up, I enjoy it. It's like,
Well, great. Well, thank you. Thank you
yeah.
for digging so deeply into the record, too. I know you do a lot of stuff, and it's great that I had found things that resonated with it. I really appreciate it.
Pick up this record, everyone. It's great. And if you can see the Lemon Twigs and Chris playing in your area, get a ticket. You won't be sorry. Money back guarantee. I guarantee you will like it. Come to me if you have a problem. Thanks so much, Chris.